see who was mentally strong, who was athletic, both on the employer side and the candidate side. I felt like I was more of a therapist at times than a recruiter. You know, people were scared. They're on the news, and all you hear is like a ton of negativity. And it's shut it off. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to step it up, or are you just going to put that victim? And the fact that, you know, you've been able to grow says so much about the culture you've built, along with everybody else in this industry. I mean, I would tell people, because that's all we do in this industry, is shut the TV off, take a deep breath. You are in the greatest industry to be in right now. We've never been busier since the pandemic hit. I don't think that the industry slowed down. Now, some skill sets that we have, but payments was booming. FinTech was booming. And it's a matter of those companies that you're talking about that wanted to put up, pump the brakes. They wanted to stop and say, well, we don't know what's going to go on in the world. That's great. You can choose to do that. Your competitors aren't. And people that are, now they're in a situation while the dust is starting to settle, that they're continuing to grow and take over, their competitors out there. And so it's something where if you are in leadership, or if you're not in leadership, it's all about the culture from the bottom to the top. And telling that story out there, whether it's through social media, through networking, and making sure that people are understanding what your why is. And coming to you versus you having to go out to them. That's the greatest thing in the world. I see you've been doing some good things. I've seen you posting about this, and this, and what your business model is, what you stand for. I want to come over to you, like, want to say, come work for Austin. I mean, that's what we need more of, not just in this industry, but in the world, and just being kind and treating people, the right way, and just getting out there, kicking ass and growing business. There's so much for the taking right now, and now's the time to do it.
Taking massive action is key, right? Our way off hours in the mail, minimum wage, right? I think taking massive action. This group's going to be great. You're going to take some nuggets from probably half the stuff you're going to hear today and everything else you're going to do. But when you go back home to your home base, don't put your feet up on the couch and try the game. Take massive action to make change within your organization if you haven't already. I think it's very important to think about that on the HR side, and if you have sales professionals in the field, if you don't take massive action, then you're wasting your time here anyways. You know what I mean? We're hoping you guys take massive action. That's why, again, I was stoked to be on the board. I'm here with him and him as well. He's got 32 years of experience with Bill. You learn a lot, from these individuals. But taking massive action when you get home, I would highly recommend you do that. A lot of people have a lot of ideas. Ideas are great. Taking action on those ideas are hard. So if you're thinking about recruiting, you're thinking about hiring people, start setting the framework and then let your people take ownership of what they're doing and go out there and create something special, not for you, but for your company, your communities, and the payment space in general. So.
Wow, that's some great stuff. I don't even think I need to be up here. So you're hearing some real wisdom around experience in what we all had to do during the pandemic. I jotted a couple of notes down, and some things came to mind. We made decisions in a situation that was urgent and was unknown. We decided how to pivot, how to make a change. What do we do now? In terms of, we were forced into that. We didn't have a choice. We didn't have, the 5-year plan, the 3-year plan. Oh, there's the pandemic, we'll start talking about that now and figure out what we're going to do. It didn't happen that way. So we were making decisions in an urgent situation to address kind of some unknown forward, how do we move forward? My question is, now that we've kind of come through, at least, again, I'm not breaking news here, I'm just saying we're kind of getting through this thing. What do we do in terms of planning? You touched on a couple of things, Austin, about culture. You were jumping ahead, and I asked you not to do that. But you didn't anyway.
I get all excited.
But company culture, when you're trying to manage people I have staff. I'm in Ohio. I have staff in Omaha. I have staff in Florida. I have staff in Ohio. How do you take a certain set of circumstances that you have to make decisions on the fly just to keep the wheels going that have now become kind of permanent? And maybe reel it back, make adjustments, but be strategic about the realization that normal is not post or pre-pandemic. Normal is what you're experiencing today. So can you guys talk a little bit about how would you go, or how are you in your businesses going about? You may have some input here just because of the number of businesses you speak with. how are folks recognizing we need to plan and strategize for now the next 1 year or 3-year plan, given the changes that we all experienced in the last year and a half?
Well, I will tell you this, in my consulting, you know, I talk to a lot of different level ISOs and agents. The pandemic, one of the things the pandemic did is it hurt a lot of companies financially. And so they cut back, they cut way back because they're like, well, we had to lay these people off, we had to, you know, cut back in this area. And now they're out of the pandemic, and we really have been out of it for 6 months or even longer, and they're sticking to that budget. They're like, this is kind of nice, we're through it, and our budget is 30% less, let's just stay here. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. If you want to grow, you got to get back to where you were. You got to invest money to make money. And one of the things I will tell you with recruiting and hiring people is you got to be able to let go of people quickly enough where it makes sense. Some of us hang on to people way too long. And I know we care about them, but it's a business. I need the best players now. Now, I'll give you every opportunity to succeed, but I need you to step up to the plate now. And I think the pandemic has made, and please respect my opinion on this, has made people lazy. There's just a lot of people that don't want to work, and yet they want to be paid. Well, I'll pay you, but you're going to work. And if you don't, I'm going to let you go. And you got to have leadership strong enough to be able to make those decisions at a time. Nobody will like you, by the way, because you're letting go of people that, you know, we need someone there. Yeah, but we need someone that's going to get the work done. So if you lost money, if you've lowered your budget, if you've brought it down during the pandemic to survive, good for you. But we're out of it. Get back to spending money. You want to grow this thing, you got to spend money so you can make money.
Yeah, you see that all the time in this industry today, is the spending money again, you know, the M&A business is going on. I mean, we've seen it even, talking about the people that actually want to be there and not being afraid of letting them go. That's huge, kind of going back to the culture. You got to put the right people in place. And if you don't have the right people, you can't be afraid to let them go. You're going to waste more money. It's going to be more of a cancer to the overall culture anyways. But, you know, we're seeing even companies that across the board right now that are really, I think, understanding how good their good employees are and how important it is to keep them in place. I've seen people as a recruiter, you know, some people, you know, why not take a counter offer? They start seeing the loyalty and, you know, you're going to be the first one to go. I cannot believe the competitiveness in this industry right now to keep good people. I mean, they're throwing money, they're not afraid to throw money at good people. But it's not just about the money. It's about, you know, being able to like step into roles and whatnot and have responsibilities that they didn't have before. You know, and the right leaders are putting those people in place. Say, listen, when the going got tough, you step up to the plate. And we're going to acknowledge that we're going to reward you. And if you're not, then maybe it's not for you. You know, there's a lot of companies, you know, we saw a survey in Microsoft not too long ago that 40% of the workforce said they would quit their job if they had to go back to an office full time. And I thought it was absolutely asinine. I mean, to your point, Juan, we've got it raising since the pandemic. You know, we're collecting stimulus checks. You can't get an Uber, you can't get a Lyft in this market right now because no one wants to go to work. And it's egregious to me that that's how this this country's gone to in a lot of aspects. And you need to have those people that want to be there day in and day out. They're going to grind for you, that look at themselves as this is my company. You might not be the CEO of the company, but act like it because you're going to be an integral part to the ongoing growth of the organization. If you don't have those people in place right now, you need to go find them.
I wanted to say something on that, Mark, real quick, Austin, because people say, how do you build culture? And it's kind of cliche, but you got to build the dream for an employee. You know, we interview people to make sure we get the right people, but build a dream about where they're coming to work. Give them hope. I mean, they're nervous, they're excited, they need a paycheck, but paint a vision of what it could look like in 2 years, 5 years for them. Ask them, how do you see yourself in a few years? What would you love to see about yourself? Be positive, you know, because that builds culture. When you have someone that believes in where they're at, we love our company, we love our leadership. You can't believe what we have planned for the next 5 years. You're gonna be proud of the company you're standing in 10 years from now. Build that culture. Because then people are like, I want in. When can I start? That is a big piece. Dream with those that you're recruiting or hiring. Share a little bit of the vision.
And you gotta own it too, right? A lot of people want to be politically correct, etc. It is what it is. Whatever your company's culture is, own it. Who gives a crap what everyone else thinks on the side? You know, Elizabeth is here. One of the first things I say to her, and she's our director of talent and training, is people that come into our company, they get used to our culture. We don't get used to theirs. So if you want to bring lazy habits in my office, there's a door. You want to not be in on time, there's a door. These are simplistic things. This is not rocket science. But when people come to our company, they work for our company, they know that the culture they see is the culture they're going to get. We're not changing. And everyone throughout our whole organization thinks, and thinks when it comes down to our culture, what we're fighting for, which in our case is, you know, in our industry is culture, transparency, and being a voice for the small business owner. That's our why, right? So they're bought into it. They have to believe in what you're trying to accomplish. Not that I'm trying to make an extra 50 basis points on an interchange plus deal. If that's that mindset, you're fine. You're going to be just like every dinosaur that I have watched, you know, crumble over the years. And they're scared of reviews nowadays. I mean, think about the biggest companies in the nation. They're scared of getting a review. They don't want you to peel back the curtain, right? So when you have employees that come in and they buy into your vision, they buy into the company culture, and they're able to not be micromanaged, right? The worst thing you can do is micromanage and absolutely demoralize their creativity and innovation. You know, I did a video yesterday with somebody. They asked me a question of advice for ownership. And my advice was simple. It's one word. Listen. Your employees will speak. I give you my word, they'll speak. And they'll probably give you the best ideas, the best checks and balances, the processes, and you're able to give input as a higher level, of course. But they take ownership of that very quickly. They implement it, and then they hold everyone else accountable to it because they feel like they own it. And they replicate that down the line to their people that are below them as well. But get used to our culture really quick, or get out. Because we're not going to get used to you. Oh, you used to do that in your last job? No. Go work there. Oh, you're not there because you got fired? Okay, awesome. So you probably need this, right? So it's like mindset, you know what I mean? And I think that's where, you know, they mentioned laziness. I think people have been lazy since I was born. You know, I think plenty of people are lazy. I've seen my stepfather was lazy, He was mid-40s. I watched that growing up. I mean, there's some lazy SOBs out there. I don't want to be surrounded by them, and I promise you, the culture you're building, you don't want to be surrounded by them either. Don't accept mediocre. You know, if the bar's here, the bar's really here. And I think that's hard to do when you are running a company, and you always want to run that fine line. Oh, am I going to hurt his feelings, or am I going to hurt her feelings? That's not the case. They should be bought in anyways. So it shouldn't hurt their feelings. They should find a solution to get right. The worst word in our office that anyone can use is the word no. I hate the word no. Find a solution. It's a damn duct tape. Fix it. Let's get it done. Right? And I think that's the kind of stuff that has to leave your organization. And once that does, guess what happens? You're not afraid to be in the public eye. You're not afraid to talk about reviews. Be proud of them. You're not afraid of an agent or a merchant leaving you bad, you know, responses online. By the way, online is a meat crusher. If you want to hide from everyone, it's not really easy to hide from anyone online anymore. Okay? 18 years ago, maybe when texting was something cool, but when Facebook happened, it was all over. Okay? But you have to know that if you're going to hide from that, your employees will speak out. They'll speak out when they leave. They'll speak out that they're money hungry, they're this, they're that, they're not bought in. And that will also hurt you just as much as it helps you initiate for that quick moment of making a quick buck. You know what I mean? So I think that's very important also to think
Can
about.
I ask you a question? Do you run marathons?
No, I don't.
You should seriously consider it. You'll set a world record